Good morning, warriors. It is January 25th, I believe. I think so. And we're early in the morning, but I'm going to do one before I head out here. We are at about 12 degrees. I think the low is going to be -6 here. Might be that outside now. But I go up and shovel a little bit and try to start the car. Hope you guys are doing well today. Hope you guys have a great morning and continuing on your journey. Once again, a lot of great comments. I appreciate everything. We talked about brahmacharya a little bit yesterday, and I want to thank everybody for commenting on that. I had some good comments yesterday, and I'll kind of talk about those in the next few episodes. But I want to go back to a comment that Babba made on our talking about monk mode and things like that. So we're going to focus on monk mode a little bit today, and also go back to and kind of refer a little bit to Paul Johnson, who's on a long streak as well, and just kind of monk mode itself and the differences of monk mode and what you may be doing otherwise. And so I went through kind of all the different stages. So I kind of give you my perspective. And before we do that, please go ahead and subscribe. We want to kind of get our numbers up, to as many people that can do this as possible. And I think we're up to 312 or 10 subscribers. So thank you very, very much. And also thank you for the likes and all the comments. And that kind of what makes things going a little bit for us today, too. So excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so Babba had a nice comment and question dealing with monk mode. And so, let's kind of go over this a little bit, because I went through stages where I struggled with the idea of not doing anything. Once again, when I was younger, this really wasn't something that, I don't know, I kind of learned or talked about until I was probably 12, 13 years old. And just like a lot of young boys, you learn about these type of things. And you're at the point saying, well, you want to experiment and you want to kind of find out what's going on out here and what am I missing, right? Those type of things. And we've been in that stage for a long time, because what ends up happening is you become kind of seduced by all the quick term pleasure, and you're seduced by the whole idea that everybody else is doing it, and so you think, well, something must be wrong with you if you're not doing it. But I could probably say, now that I reflect back on it, all those years before, I was definitely in a monk mode because I wasn't even giving any thought to it. And so I think when people do that, and there's lots of people that are in monk mode, may not even realize it. I think certainly one of the things that's interesting is that in order for us to understand if we're in alien mode or monk mode, you must have done it, obviously, before, because then you know the difference, right? A person who has never done it, which I'm sure there's some people out there, they are, they've been celibate for, the whole life. They probably don't even recognize it as a monk mode or any other kind of mode, because they just don't do it. And I just think human beings, really, as I've thought about this more, are really more in that category. They should be, at least. I think that most people, if you look at types of things like that, they don't lose their energy. I mean, why would you do that? I mean, unless you're tempted of some sort, why would you do that? Because you realize there's no long-term game. I think once again, the old matrix is in play here. The false matrix, I call it, is in play, because I think what people want to do is they want to kind of talk you into doing things, and they talked me into doing things for many, many years, and trying to prevent you from, being as strong as you can be, and trying to, keep your energy. And so I think Babba talks about the fact that it is an important type of thing to look at. So as you progress, and I think in my case, we'll talk about my case first. It really is a situation where I knew in the back of my mind what I was doing was wrong, but trying to control that urge is always the difficult part, and that was the difficult part. I think unless you in your mind come up with a number of reasons of why this is not a problem. But I also think you have to try to guard against all the peer pressure and people, the fear people create. Well, if you don't do this, you're gonna have this, and you're gonna have prostate cancer, all kinds of stuff like that. Then you're gonna have a lot of people who are telling you, and most of the time we believe the people around us. Especially people who care about us, and they may have good intentions, but they may not have all the information. And I think certainly a lot of this information, it wasn't hidden. It was just that people um, didn't feel a need to recognize it until after a period of time. And in my case, it was a number of years to realize this has got to stop. Now, I didn't think I could stop, to be honest with you. I tried and tried and tried. And I just knew that I wasn't going to give up, and I was going to keep going. But the thing is that you have to try. You have to keep trying. And this is the key to success. Eventually you'll find the answer. And it took me 45 years, but it's easy to kind of see now that what you have to do is a complete lifestyle change. Now you may think, well, I'm missing out on something big here. I'm missing out on all the pleasure and all the ideas and seeing things and all this type of thing and doing that. Well, in my mind, that's nothing more than an animal type of mentality. That all you're doing is looking for, having intercourse or looking at pictures, and you're going to continue to do this all day long. And I've seen people, that's the mentality they have. They're going to be doing this all day long. Well, they eventually end up, having, no energy, and they eventually having, dysfunctions and different type of things happening to them because they're out of whack. And I've seen people who have these sexual dysfunctions at 20 some years old now, which is incredible. How does it happen? Well, it's because they're basically, losing their energy every chance they get, and they think this is the way it is and this is the healthy thing to do. In fact, it's the opposite. And I think this is why we're living in this matrix where I don't really believe anything that I'm hearing anymore. And it's important to do research and try to figure out what's really going on out there. So when we talk about, going back to what Babba was saying about monk mode, it's very important to realize, and a shout out to Babba, by the way. Babba's a very loyal viewer and listener, and I appreciate everything that Babba contributes. And he is exactly right when we talk about monk mode. I started that about 110, 11, 12 days ago. And to me, that's really the best way to go. I think that if, it's always a kind of step-by-step process with me. I had to kind of learn to have enough discipline to get to this one point where I would say, okay, I'm doing it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Then I had to get to the point where I'm doing it for longer, and now I'm at 500 and some days. But over, when I was at like 400 days, I finally got to the point of saying, okay, this is not, I think I'm still losing energy. And I think that a few viewers were right when they said that a few months back, talking about the fact that even if you're edging and things like that, you're really kind of still losing energy. So I was at one point that I was actually encouraging that you do that. It's better than, releasing totally. But I think, as I reflect on this back, I think the best way to go is monk mode. Now, if you get the alien mode like Paul and some other people are, that's a tremendous accomplishment as well. But I think if you get into monk mode, you're able to kind of focus on the goals and things you want to achieve, not the things that that the world wants you to look into. And I think certainly, I think there's a mentality out there, and I'm not sure exactly where this all is coming from, but a mentality that people should work. I mean, I remember this movie called Metropolis many, many years ago. They had a remake, but it was also a silent movie back in the 1920s. And it was about these people who just became, workers. And they had these elite people who lived out above ground, getting all the benefits of everything. And they had these people, below ground doing all the work. And they were basically almost like the Bugs Life. You ever seen that movie? I saw that with my kids a long time ago. And the bugs were the people who didn't realize that, they were, living this kind of life they didn't have to live. And they were always scared of these 5 or 6 bugs that came, until the point that they weren't scared anymore. And that's when they made a change and got rid of the bugs and all that kind of stuff. The same thing I think with this retention thing. I think we're told a lot of different types of things, and we're living in this kind of world where we're just working, going home, watching TV, the same messages over and over again, and all of a sudden you're talked into a certain lifestyle in which you're kind of destroying yourself. But it's not until the people, instead of the bugs here, the people rise up and say, okay, it's enough of this. We now see what's really going on, and we're not going to go ahead and just lose our energy all the time. And that's what I think we are with the retention movement, gang. I think it's time to rise up. It's saying, okay, no more of this. If I'm going to procreate and have children, that's one thing. But if I'm not going to do that, what am I doing? Why am I looking at short-term pleasure when really the long-term goal is to be successful, contribute something to life, and basically be a person, upstanding, role model, and those type of things we want to become. So that's the kind of thing that I think monk mode gets you into. You start thinking about the bigger picture. Why am I doing this? Why is this something I'm even thinking about? And if thoughts cross my mind, I'm a lot easier to control this because it's not really something that I'm thinking about anymore. And those type of things are really important. It's not that you don't notice a beautiful person or someone's figure, things like that, but you're looking at it in a whole different way. You're more admiring it. You're not really lusting after it. And I think that's a big difference. So, all right, my friends. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, Babba. Shout out to you for the comment, and we'll do our next talk tomorrow. And C-Sal made a comment about the video I did on men wanting feminine qualities in women, and we'll talk about men being leaders tomorrow. All right, and thanks C-Sal for that comment as well. So Babba, once again, shout out to you. Guys, have a great day. It is January 25th, and have a wonderful day, and if you're in a cold area, keep warm. If you're in a hot area, get cool, but don't lose your energy. Battle on!